South Africa holds the dubious distinction of being the world's most worried nation when it comes to unemployment. Despite the persistent high levels of concern over unemployment, the latest survey shows a worrying 5% increase compared to the previous year, increasing to 69%. Even during periods of relative calm, concern about unemployment in South Africa has not dipped below 60%, highlighting the deep-seated anxiety that pervades the nation. In contrast, India, the country with the second highest level of concern about unemployment, trails far behind South Africa at just 49%. On a global level, unemployment ranks as the fourth biggest concern, with only 27% of people worldwide selecting it as a worry. Out of the 29 countries surveyed, only 9 saw an increase in concern about unemployment from the previous year. However, South Africa stands out as a country where growing unease about unemployment serves as a stark reminder of the challenges facing the nation, even as other countries show signs of employment recovery after COVID-19. The pervasive anxiety over unemployment in South Africa is well-founded. Official statistics indicate that the country's unemployment rate surged to a record high of 34.4% in Q4 of 2020, up from 23.3% a year earlier. Currently, 7.8 million people are without work, with women being more affected than men by a 5% margin. This means that more than a third of the country's potential workforce is unable to secure employment. The challenge of unemployment in South Africa is compounded by its uneven distribution across the population, with the youth being disproportionately affected. During the last quarter of 2022, a staggering 61% of those aged between 15 and 24 were unemployed. It is concerning that 3.4 million out of 10.2 million young people in this age group were not in employment, education, or training. This is a significant social and economic issue and a potential source of political instability. South Africa's pervasive worry about unemployment reflects a broader sense of unease about the country's future trajectory. Almost 9 out of 10 South Africans believe that the country is headed in the wrong direction, with only Argentina having a higher level of concern at 90%. South Africans share a pervasive sense of unease about the national economy, with only 14% describing its current state as good. However, other countries such as Japan, South Korea, and Argentina report even lower levels of optimism. While there are positive signs of growth in consumer confidence globally, South Africa saw an 11 percentage point increase in the proportion of people viewing the current economic situation as bad compared to last year. The Ipsos South Africa Socio-Political Trends Study from December 2022 revealed that 70% of South Africans expressed alarm at the rising cost of living. However, the country ranks third lowest compared to other nations in terms of viewing inflation as a top concern, with only a quarter of South Africans currently holding this view. More than half of South Africans are concerned about crime and violence, and financial and political corruption. South Africa's high level of concern about crime and violence, which are significantly higher than the global average, is not surprising given the country's crime statistics, underlining the urgent need for effective measures to address this issue. It is uncertain whether unemployment and crime will be significant issues in the upcoming election, but corruption is likely to play a major role. The ongoing debates about corruption at state-owned enterprises like Eskom highlight this concern. In fact, 54% of South Africans said they may not vote in the next election due to issues with electricity supply, according to the Socio-Political Trends Study. South Africans continue to worry about poverty and social inequality, which ranks fourth in their list of concerns, with 35% expressing worry, slightly higher than the global average of 32%. Despite being classified as a middle-income country, South Africa remains one of the most unequal societies in the world, with a Gini coefficient of 63, and more than half of the population living in poverty. As we compare the full list of selectable topics from the Ipsos Global Advisor What Worries the World study from last year to this year on a global country average, we see a decline in concerns over coronavirus, military conflict, taxes, and unemployment, but a significant increase in inflation worries. It's important for business leaders and policymakers to track these trends as they plan strategies and policies to respond to changing public priorities.